All right, welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. Can I hear it for Astrid Plane and Steve Ono? Wow. In here just killing it. All right. Let's go ahead and bring them in, Billy. All right. Astrid Plane, hello.
Very nice
how are
see
you? Steve Ono, how are you doing, buddy?
All right.
Astrid Plane from Animotion.
That's correct.
How many years ago was that?
Well,
84?
I hate to admit, it's 1985. This year is our 30-year anniversary of having a hit with the song Obsession.
That was such. I was telling the people inside earlier that in 1985 that
Right.
you were on MTV like every hour.
My MTV.
Right.
Right.
I know everyone out there's got to just be thinking, "Gosh, I really miss MTV the way it used
Oh
to
yeah,
be."
when they played music.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I went to the 1984 or 83 US Festival.
Yes.
And it was live on MTV for 3 days long.
Oh.
Possibly the greatest lineup of all time.
I can't imagine.
But Animotion, tell me, how did you get in that band?
Well, I was in a band in L.A. called Red Zone, and we, as many bands do, kind of blew up one day. And I decided, right, I'm going to do another band, and this time it's going to be fun. And so I pulled in a lot of people, and the idea, Animotion, I came up with the idea of Animotion being energy and emotion and some fun pop music and just friends playing together, having a great time. And we just played together for a very short amount of time, and within 10 months we were signed to Polygram Records. And that was a miracle.
Who wrote the big song?
Holly Knight and Michael DeBar. They had written some other songs that were hits in that era. And so that was the one that kind of stood out from the rest. When we first heard it, we said, wow, that's very catchy.
Well,
So
that song is so timely. Like when you hear it, you know that it's the 80s.
Right.
That was the sound of the 80s.
Right. But we're lucky because the song has never gone away.
No.
You turn on the radio, and chances are you're going to hear it at some point during the day, even on some of the old school. Oh, I recognize that.
There we go, right there. Has anybody tried to redo that song?
Many people.
Really? I can't imagine anyone else doing it.
Yeah, it's been covered many, many times and used in all kinds of weird ways, including Grand Theft Auto. It's in the video game. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yes.
That's kind of odd, isn't it?
It is odd. And you know those...
But they cut you a check, so it's not that odd.
Well, because we didn't write it.
Oh, yeah.
So unfortunately, I'm still living in a little house, that I don't own all the way. And Holly Knight's got the big house on Rodeo Drive because, she was the writer.
At what point did you become a musician?
Oh, very young. About 13, I got my first guitar and started playing.
Who turned you
in
on?
pubs.
Made you want to be a musician?
Some of my early influences were the Pretenders.
Chrissie Hynde.
Yeah, and I love Susie and the Banshees. I don't know if you guys remember that. And then going back, of course, the Beatles.
Right.
If you don't like the Beatles, you really can't be my friend. I'm sorry. I just feel that way. So, I'm so glad because I get the opportunity to teach today too. And if a kid walks into my studio and hasn't heard of the Beatles, we have to have a conversation.
Sit him down.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where did you grow up at?
England, near Windsor Castle. So me and the Queen are on, waving terms.
How did you make your way to Fresno?
It's a long story, but what happened was I was kind of a rebel and kind of a gypsy when I was young. And when I was 16, I started hitchhiking all over Europe with my guitar.
It's a great way to travel, isn't it? I've done it myself, and it's a great way to travel.
Yeah, and I just did most of the European countries that I wanted to do, and America seemed like the next
Were you
step.
slinging a guitar with you?
Yes,
Going around and playing little cafes?
Just wherever.
Busking on the street?
Yeah. I got in trouble with that one time with my dad. He caught me, and he was so pissed off.
No daughter of mine is going to beg on the street for money with her guitar.
But, it was just something inside of me. I had to perform, in whatever venue you give me, I need to perform,
So tell me what this thing you have going on with Steve Ono.
Well, she gave me a recording with 10 songs she'd recorded on her phone back at the beginning of October.
Kidding. How fun.
She said, I want to do an album of kind of new folk pop rock type of stuff, and so I thought of who would best be able to do that, called them together. We did full rehearsals and and cut all 10 basic tracks for the songs in less than 10 hours.
Wow.
And,
No. Here, big MTV star recorded my album on the iPhone.
Right. Because the technology is so wonderful these days.
But still kind of raw, though.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You can't really release what's on the iPhone.
Right.
Oh, no.
You know,
That's just for just remembering your ideas.
Right. In other words, I was able to take that, I turned that into chord charts for the entire band. Most of the guys I used were really good readers, so as we came up with parts during rehearsal, and talk about an intimidating place to come rehearse, we walk into her place and there's gold records on the wall. Okay, so we're all set up in the living room looking at these things, going, "Okay, we should probably be pretty good, right?" But in any case, everybody was able to write down the parts. In a lot of cases, she would come up with a line, and she would sing the line to the lead guitar player, Ben Wiles, and he would just go, "Okay, is this what you mean?" And they'd write it down.
Wow.
And so we're able to get everything really well organized, I think, within 3 rehearsals, and then we did the 1/4 rehearsal as kind of a refresher just before going into the studio.
So it's already laid down?
Everybody, all the tracks, I believe, are complete now.
We actually went in for overdubs last night with Ben Wiles, our guitar player, and we put down some ukulele, mandolin, rock guitar, and we just kind of put the sprinkles on top of the cake with, some extra layers that we needed to just kind of...
Frosting on the cake.
When do we get to hear it?
I hope that we can have a CD release party in the middle of April. That's what I'm shooting for.
Can you
Late spring.
When you have it ready, will you come back and we'll do a release here on the show?
Sure.
I sure would love that.
Sure.
That'd be
I
awesome.
think it'd be great.
But we have to kind of get going here. But before we do, and take your time doing it,
Right.
Give me a rock and roll story, Astrid.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on, tell me one.
Oh, my goodness. You're putting me on the spot
I
here. Well... I don't know. I mean, one of my biggest thrills is that, I got to be on the American Music Awards in about 86 or 87. And one of my
Performing
heroes,
on stage?
as a presenter of one of the awards, and the winner is, and the lady who hosted the show that year was Diana Ross. And the fact that when she introduced me walking on stage, that Diana said my name, that was just it for me. I felt like, okay, I've arrived. Diana Ross just said my name, and I walked out in my crazy, expensive, wild-looking dress, which actually had bat wing sleeves like this.
Of course they do.
The only other person that has a dress like this was Tina Turner. She had the Dragon Lady dress, which was the match of that in one of her videos. And so... that's one of those stories. Backstage that night, of course, I saw Stevie Wonder. He didn't see me.
Oh. Yeah. Did you get to talk to Diana Ross?
I did not. She was too busy changing costumes. She had about 12 costume changes for that show. But, Motown growing up was one of my strong influences, and I really feel like, American music, like B.B. King and Muddy Waters and, some of the American bands that influenced English rock and roll was really part of my foundation.
Oh, awesome. You know what? I want to thank you for taking time and coming down here on the Buzz. I really
thank
appreciate
you so
it.
much.
You
Very
killed
good
it. That's
to
a
be here.
great song.
Thank you.
And Steve, thank you for always being a part of the Buzz.
No problem.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back on the Buzz. Stick around.